Right then, so this week's video, I made a bit of an error, to be honest, with the seats. You probably notice an issue straight away. Well, something that I've done. Basically, the seat fitted in fine, test fitted it ages ago, and when I've actually made it, there's a bit of a problem. Bear in mind that the obviously the shape and everything else is altered a bit inside and on the seat as well. So basically what happened is, I figured out I could get the seat in, it was all sitting fine. It was sitting around about here, the back was sitting about here, and obviously the seat here was all there, but I couldn't actually get in there, sit on it and technically move the car when it's done. So I thought, well, that's not going to work. So basically what I've done is I've chopped out a section to make it more bucket-like, basically, almost. So this whole section here, which was originally up here, is now going to be dropped down here instead, which kind of looks more seat-like anyway, to be fair, once it's got its fiberglass and everything else back together and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's basically going to sit that level and then go onto the floor. These sections here are going to be fiberglassed in. I might do that as part 2 of the video, actually, because that should be done in theory by the end of this week. So I'll do some part of that on the video as well. So there'll be a section there with basically cardboard areas, fiberglassed all around, blended in again. Sorry about that. Put dust in my mouth. Yeah, so that's going to look all right in the end. So basically what I've had to do as well, I've had to chop out a section. I don't know if you can see in here, maybe not. Obviously the seat used to sit here. Now it's had to go further back so I can actually get, like, well, to get in the car, as I say. So now I've had to cut this section out. To be fair, now that it's actually like that, it's going to look a lot tidier, to be honest. When it's all fully trimmed and everything else, it's going to look a lot sort of better put together, to be fair. So I'm not complaining about that. It's going to be quite good, really. Bit of a Brucey bonus. And obviously there's still clearance for the subs to move about. If I can get in there, plenty of room. There's a good 1.5 inch, I'd say, roughly. And the X-Max on these isn't that amount, so it'll be fine. Plenty of room there. It's got a good amount to work with. Not a problem. That'll be fine. That's exactly where it's going to sit, basically. So that's all good. I've also been working on the other side, which I'll show you. I'll come around here. Bit of a mess in here again, unfortunately, but that's the way it works in here. So, okay. So I've got the screen frame basically fiberglass together like I put in the last video. The screen obviously fits inside that frame, nice and snug in there, but it does screw in as well. So that's it's not screwed in at the moment. It's just literally sitting there. That's how snug it is. And then basically I'm just getting this frame fitted into the original hole, because obviously I've put filler and fiberglass and stuff in there, so the hole is slightly smaller, the frame is slightly bigger. So obviously there's a bit of I did build in a bit of leeway, but there still needs a bit of fettling to get it in. But you can see it's basically headed into that corner now. Just needs some tidying up, which I haven't done yet, underneath there. And obviously that'll sit nicely in there. It's got to be pretty free to get in and out of there, so I can't have it too tight. So I'll crack on with that shortly. What I've also been doing is getting, I don't know, in the last video as well, or one of them, this line here was sort of like went up like that, and then up like that, and then up like that again. It's all over the place. So now I've managed to get the line pretty much in the right area now, and these sort of areas are going to be obviously finished off. I've got some filler work to do still on these to bring it into the A pillar there. But obviously the line itself is pretty good. Just needs a good skim of filler, same as that centre section in the middle there. The piece that joins the roof to the console and the floor, that's basically never really been touched, to be fair. It all looks very rough, as you can see. So I've got to take off all the flashing tape that's around it, because I did have some flashing tape on there. Obviously it crumbles and things, so I've got to take that off. I've took some off already around the front here. Obviously you can see how rough it is. It just needs a good layer of fiberglass to get it right. And also I'm going to blend the fiberglass into the dash as well. I've taken off some of this, which is the old fiberglass, which I'll show you from up here probably for the best plan. So I've started taking the sticker bomb off, because obviously this was just for test purposes, really, just to see what it was going to look like. So I started taking this back. It hasn't even started really yet. Taking off some of the old fiberglass that wasn't really very good under there, from ages and ages ago. This from years ago, this was. So all this is coming off. All this here is coming off. All this will be shaped, blended in, basically the same as this one, which just needs finish off on the blending, but it's pretty much better than this one, that's for sure. There you go. So yeah, there you go, that's going to be pretty good. So I'm going to do a part 2 with some seat work as on this. Hopefully shouldn't be too long before they're finished now. Just need a little bit of altering, as I say. And then I'll crack on with this as well as part of the next video. But yeah, there we go, part 2 coming up shortly. Right, it's part 2. Been doing some more work on the seats, as you can see. So I've done a little bit of fibreglass the whole thing. Done the first sort of, well, half section of filler, basically. It's not actually anywhere near fully done on this layer yet. It's got plenty of work to do on this to be fair, but yep, I'll do some more this week on those, so you can have another video of that at some point this week. I've also had a tidy up, so they've got plenty of room down here now. All the dust's gone now down here, looking much better. Just a few bits and bobs here and there. So I've done a bit of that, tied up under here as well. There we are. I've been doing most of the work in here, so I've been working on the filler side of things. This has been cut back here for the sticker bomb and taken all back. It does overlap very slightly on here, but obviously once you've peeled that off, it's fine. Once it's sanded down anyway, it's only just overlapped on the edge. Look, see where it's just there. So that's fine. I've also done this section here over the top of the fiberglass, again over here overlapping slightly, but I'll sort that out. Just got a little bit to finish off here, and a bit in here as well where I'm doing this sort of pillar section. I've got some bits in here, so wait for one section to dry and then do another piece, otherwise you end up manipulating it all over the place, doesn't really work. Same for this as well. I'm cracking on with more with this week as well, getting all this in and flat it back. I've done a little bit more on this one. That's on probably second layer of filler now, I think. Done some work in here, so there we go, on second layer of filler here. So the angles and things are all coming along nicely. All this side's just got to be flattened back and made into a nice sort of shape and curve down here. All this section was all kind of had low points, so I put another layer of filler on here. It's getting on quite nicely, that is, to be fair. All under there, going along nicely. Still got to sand the roof. I mean, basically next week's going to be a whole lot of sanding, basically. Sanding all these sections, sanding the roof, getting all these bits right, which, I mean, that was sort of the whole point for this week, but it's taking a bit longer on the filler than probably expected. But yeah, it's coming along quite nicely, to be fair, not bad at all. And then I'll get the screen frame in as well. I'll try and get that done all in one hit. The sanding and the screen, that's the plan. I'll see what happens. This section here as well, I probably won't touch this just yet, but I'm going to basically blend this in better to there, so it looks more like a rounded section, so it looks more like the other side, which obviously has been cut down quite a lot. But need some fiberglass in there now when it's been done properly, where the seat now fits, and obviously the second seat is going to fit basically exactly the same place. That's why I said in the last video, only one of the seats really causes too much grief with fitment wise, because obviously I got it completely wrong last time. So yeah, I'll crack on with that. I'll do the second seat as well this week. I'll be doing a few hours on that. I'll crack on with the seat and I'll try and get things sorted out and go from there. So yeah, that's basically it for this week. I'll do another one next week, and yeah, feel free to subscribe and like it and everything else, and go from there.